Is that, well, obviously the graph is starting first at like ice, and then it goes up a little bit, which means it's starting to melt, and then it keeps going up until it becomes steam.
You missed the whole liquid part.
Sorry, I was gonna mention that. It
Yeah.
starts from ice, then it melts, then it goes to liquid water, then the liquid water goes to boiling, and then it goes to steam when
So what
fully
happens if you,
evaporated.
and this is bad, we don't want to do this, but what happens if you just leave water on the stove for long enough? What will happen to the water?
It will evaporate.
It'll eventually be nothing. Yeah. Okay. Um, so we want to talk about that here. So um, you want to say something like from solid ice to the ice melting. And whenever you think of temperature, like here we would say the temperature increases quickly. Or temperature, yeah, increases quickly. We can replace the word temperature with energy. Temperature and
What?
energy are we could say but we're going to keep the word temperature, but you can think of it as energy. Um, basically, a lot of energy is required. Okay, so um, so the what you might observe is that nothing happens. Like you'll be just looking at the ice, nothing's happening, and all of a sudden it melts. So that we want to send we want a sentence I want a sentence from you that says something like that. You're going to not see much, but all of a sudden the ice will melt. Like you won't think anything's happening, and then it'll be gone
It's
pretty
like
quickly.
this is sarcasm, but like the moment you look away, something
Exactly.
already happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because it
So
is true.
so put something like that into a sentence for us, please.
Okay. Like I should mention the ice how like it's it'll be slower to melt and stuff, that I don't know. Trying to think of something. So, question, should I mention the fact about steam? Like, if you look away for too long, it can turn into steam because we're melting the ice and stuff.
So what you just said is true, but we're just talking about solid ice to liquid. We'll get to that part.
Okay.
You're going too far. Just one sentence.
All right. Oh, I wasn't done typing, no.
It's okay.
Ex
Keep it's okay. Just go ahead and finish it up. And
uh,
probably always good to type it in another document and then copy it in if you can.
yeah. All right, here's what I have finished thing of what I was typing.
Ivana, that this is not anything to do with what we just said.
Uh,
Like I don't understand the disconnect.
I don't know, man.
But,
Sorry.
but what did I say? I mean, what do you remember me saying?
Um, I forgot already.
So I'll try it one more time here.
Okay.
The if when you put water in a pot on the stove with some ice
Yes.
and turn on the stove, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to notice that nothing appears to be happening for a long time. You know, I don't know, and that might be like 5 minutes. Like you just won't see anything. Nothing's going on. And then all of a sudden, like you said, you're going to look away and the ice will have melted. There'll be no more ice.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a sentence that says what I just said.
Okay. All right. I just wrote something different in the chat. Let me know if it works. I think this time it will.
This is better. So we're still missing the whole it quickly, like all of a sudden, like it's as if it instantly went from ice to liquid.
Yes. That's why I mentioned a couple of minutes. Maybe I should have been more specific with the number.
Okay, now let's talk about same thing. Okay, so same thing here. And again, I'm gonna have you to try to write this sentence. There's no more ice, it's just water. And if you were to stick your finger in the water, it would be cold, but be careful because it will heat up. Um, you will look at it, you won't notice anything. And then all of a sudden, you see the bubbles coming up from the bottom, right? And then it's
Yes.
rapidly boiling. And it's like, oh my God, like it just happens really quickly, right? That is the water boiling. So we will similarly say a lot of energy is required to change water to vapor to, let's just say, to cause the water to boil. Okay. As the temperature increases. Okay. So this is where you're going to add a sentence, which is what I just described. It's what you're going to see. You'll see that, hey, it doesn't look like anything's happening. Like is this, you almost wonder, is the stove on? Is anything happening? And then all of a sudden the water will just be boiling and it'll be uncontrollably boiling. Um, so I'd like a sentence that says that, please.
Okay. About the water boiling, right? Just to make sure so I don't forget.
Yes.
Okay. I can mention the fact, like in my sentence, I want to say it takes a lot of energy to cause water to boil. Can I mention that as well in the sentence instead of even though it sounds like I'm rewriting the one that you gave me, so I can start it off. Um,
I'm sorry, say that again.
can I mention how it takes a lot of energy in my sentence for water to start boiling?
We already have said that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, you're talking about what you're seeing, and I'm trying to describe for you what you're going to see.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I mean, I've boiled so many eggs. I can just use those as examples.
Sure.
So I'll
Yeah, that's
just
a good example. Yeah, exactly. You look the eggs in the water and there's nothing happening, nothing happening. All of a sudden they're boiling.
yeah, I'm gonna just for example and then go from there. All right, here's what I have written so far with the example of eggs to show how water is boiling.
Wow, that's a great example. I don't know if they're going to be okay with that, but we'll just throw it in anyway. Um,
Okay.
that's
I
good.
just thought,
Okay,
yeah, I think
that's
with
good.
the eggs, it will be a clear example instead of me trying to describe the feeling, like I mean the visual.
Well, suppose it would be easier to do this after you've done the experiment, but it's such a straightforward experiment. We can talk through it and you can take your pictures later. Um,
Yeah.
So we've already answered this in our hypothesis. What effect do you think the mass of the ice has here? So basically, you want to say something like adding more ice will blank, meaning like, will it take longer or slower to heat up and so on.
It will take longer to melt.
Okay, so say that.
I already mentioned it'll take longer than melt, but I want to add more reasoning because it's gonna be colder and there's more solids basically.
That's fine. So put that into a sentence or two.
All right, I just sent it in chat.
Okay, adding more. All right, so we're just add a few more words to this. Adding more ice will take longer to melt because it will be colder and the water will remain colder longer. Okay. Now we can talk about energy. The greater the amount of ice, the greater the energy needed to change the ice from solid to liquid. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Question 5. How did the times compare between the two experiments? So again, you've actually answered that here. So let's go back and just say um, we'll just say it this way. The greater let's just do it this way. Because I think we'll answer it. But we can say this first one maybe a little bit better, which is that the greater the amount of ice, the it's like the same questions. What
Good
effect do you think the mass?
questions.
Yeah, I guess we can say the greater the amount of ice, the longer it will take to melt and boil. The smaller amount of ice, the less time it will take to melt and boil. All right, and then this is fine down here. Okay, so this part says, and we could read this out loud together. There should be a precise narrative of everything you did, right? In past tense. That's really important for you to do, right? In past tense, as if you were telling a story, not giving directions. So it's like I started out by going to the kitchen and then I put water in. I measured out the same amount of water in two different pans, or I used the same pan, and so on. You can use the procedure that's there, but you have to rewrite it in past tense on your own. Do you follow what I'm saying?
In a way, yes.
Okay, so here is procedure 1. There's procedure 1. So you're going to rewrite this in past tense. You want to do that after you've actually
Okay.
done this. Okay. And I would recommend using, if you have two of the same pots, um, you may not everyone has like the same pots, but if you have two of the same pots, I would do that.
I don't think I do.
Okay, so one of the things that will be important is for you to, completely cool down the pot after you use it. You could, because if it doesn't start out at the same temperature, like when you pull it out of your wherever your pots are, it's at room temperature. But if you boil a bunch of water in it, the pot's going to get hot. Even if you dump it out, it's going to remain hot for a few minutes. So make sure it gets back to that room temperature. Okay, next thing here, it says to make a table. This is in the results section. Make a table with the temperature versus time that you recorded. So we're going to insert a table here. All right, so this is going to be for, do you think you want to do the half ice or the quarter ice first?
Let's do the quarter ice first.
Do you have ice cube trays? Or what do you have for ice?
We
Or just
have an ice
out of the fridge?
dispenser.
Okay. So you want to measure, so you want to go to your ice dispenser and you want to do like half a drinking glass. We'll call that a quarter. And then the
Okay,
other one will be a full drinking glass.
got it.
Maybe take a picture of that. That might be some type of picture. So it's time and temperature, and maybe do it every 1 to 2 minutes. What do you have to measure the temperature with?
Um, there's a thermometer that can measure the heat. We have one of
Okay.
those with, so
Okay. I like the I call it a temperature gun. It's the infrared. If you have one of those, that's kind of a nice one to have. It's inexpensive. It's like $15. Um, okay. Any questions on that? So you're gonna have to fill in the tables on your own, and then we'll make and you might need more room than this.
okay.
Okay, so we can kind of answer this, we can answer this. I'll help to answer this one here. It's the temperature increases more rapidly when the pot is being heated compared to when it is cooled, or when it is turned off, when the pot uh, is turned off. And the reason is there is no more energy being applied to the pot. Okay. We'll do another one here. I had 3 pictures. Okay, so here you go. They tell you what the pictures are. Picture 1, they've been overlapped with your materials. So you would set everything else, so everything on your counter. Um, so one picture is putting everything on the counter, maybe, thermometer, pot, ice, water. One during the labs. This is maybe you this is maybe you heating it up, picture of it on the stove. And then the last one here is you recording your data.
I see.
And this is like on the counter. Your pot, your ice, your water, your thermometer. Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, I think we can answer some of these here. Were any of your results unexpected? Meaning, like, is it different than what we said? And the answer will be no. Um, it's going to go the way you expect. It's going to take longer for the half ice than the quarter ice. So I want a sentence from you that says that the results are the same as the hypothesis, and basically restating what you have in the hypothesis up here, which is that the greater the amount of ice it will take to melt and less time. So could you just kind of rewrite that saying, yep, the lab went to plan, everything worked out the way we expected it to.
Yeah.
All right, so give me a sentence there in the chat, please.
Okay. I'm sorry, just making sure. I have to say, yep, that the experiment went well, basically, right?
Right, but you want to go, you can't just say everything, you can't just say the experiment went well. You want to say the experiment went well and meaning like what's highlighted here. Like that the half ice took longer than the quarter ice.
Um, I can just write a very short, simple sentence, right? I don't have to go in that much detail.
You have to include something about what you actually did in the experiment. What
All
went
right.
well.
I don't know what else to say. I ran out telling how the quarter ice did take was faster to melt since it was less ice since but I don't know what else to put.
That may be enough. You're just saying, hey, the experiment went as expected, and this is and that means that the half ice took longer to melt than the quarter ice.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in the chat, and then I asked you like, should I add more? And then yeah.
Nope, that's enough. Direct is important here. Okay, were there any shortcomings in your procedure? So it's hard to answer this now, but probably not. You're basically trying to say like you're asking how would you do it differently next time? And so like I'll give you the answer to this, but I'll still ask you to type something. The best way to do it is to have um, two pots exactly the same, to put the same amount of water in, exactly measure the ice so that you have half and a quarter, turn on the stove to the same amount, and maybe that temperature, infrared temperature gun. That would be the best way to do it. So let me put some bullets here. And then you're gonna put this in a sense. So two identical pots, measure the same amount of water, measure the ice exactly, use an infrared, temperature gun. I'd say measuring device. That probably sounds better than gun. Probably get flagged if you do that. Um, Measure the ice exactly. Um, Maybe a stopwatch, or if you have a stopwatch.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
use
same, identical burners. I don't know if you have like on your stove, but like two
yeah, we
identical
have
burners.
identical burners.
Okay. So that would be, I would like you to put this into a couple of sentences.
Okay. I'm gonna not say the two identical burners though, because I already have identical burners.
Okay.
All right. Here's what I wrote. I used what you mentioned and then added some extra details of that code.
Like even if this isn't true, you have to play the game here. And the game is that you would do something slightly different, I guess. I don't know. When you win the gold, would you really have done anything different? I don't, you know. So let's see here. What could be causing what you observe to happen? We've kind of already answered this over and over again. It's that the energy applied from the stove is causing the ice to melt and then the water to boil. So could you put that into your own sort of sentence, please?
Okay. Um, just can you repeat that one last time? I just to make
Sure.
sure.
Just. Are you seeing my screen? Well, you're seeing my screen. Yeah.
Yes.
Just what's here in the screen here. Like put that into your own words.
Gotcha.
It is truly the energy from the stove being converted to.
Okay, I just tried to make that into my own words.
Let's take a look here. A little formatting on this. All right, what additional studies need to be done to further your purpose stated in the introduction? Uh, they're kind of asking you to be the teacher here. They're saying like, um, what would be like an extension of this lab? Um, and I would say like you talked about uh, whether adding more or less ice actually took more or less time. That's probably the direction I would go with what to say here. Because it kind of asks you that in the beginning. It says like, well, what do you think's gonna happen if you had more ice or less ice? So that may be like, so imagine if you had a full classroom of students, you could like have exact quantities of ice for every student to try. So could you put that into a sentence or two?
Okay. Can you just stop highlighting your sentence so I can
Yes.
see it? Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, I know that. Boy, that's annoying.
Yeah, I was like, I can't see. Let me
Yeah, I
see what
can't
I need
see
to
it.
write.
How do you need me to how do you want me to rewrite? All right, good job. Let's go.
All right. Time for me to add more. So I have to rewrite the
No,
sentence that you gave me.
yeah,
Just add
something,
more.
but just we want you to say something about like this. Like if I had more time, I would try different quantities of ice.
I wrote something. I don't think it's good, but I tried. So like, let me know.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, hey.
That's exactly what we're trying to say. All right. So next thing here is what did you learn? What did you learn? And this is truly open-ended. So it doesn't have to be anything to do with like ice or melting. It could just be, you know, writing a lab experiment or um, it really could be anything. So it's a couple sentences. Um, it could be just what you've learned, from where we started today to where you are now.
Okay. I can say I learned how long it takes a stove to provide energy to make water boil,
Okay, sounds fine.
basically. Alright, I just wrote in the chat.
Can you give me more than, I haven't even looked, but could you just give me more? I know that that can't be enough. And is it less
Alright,
than 6?
yeah,
It's
this is
probably
less than
lectures.
6.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
shall
and
add more.
another sentence or two,
Alright,
maybe about writing a lab report or something like that.
and I can say it also helped me learn how to add more information to a lab report.
All right. All right. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we just want to make a good faith effort here to try to, you know, say that you learned something.
I should mention something with the measurements, I feel like.
Okay.
Alright, I added some more. Talking
Okay.
about
That's good. We'll go with that. So I'm going to save this and send it over to you. So what you need to do between now and next time you want help on this one is you need to make sure you record the data. You need to take your pictures, and then together we can make the graph for number 6, 7. Sound good?
yeah, sounds good.
All right, I'm gonna stop just a couple minutes early here.